Hey, how's it going? So today I'll be going over factors and the greatest common factor. So what is a factor? So a factor is basically a whole number that could fit into another whole number with no remainders. So one thing to note about factors, a number will always have itself and 1 as a factor. So let's look at some practical examples. First one is say 28. Alright, so we got 28. So 28, because we already know a number has itself and 1 as a factor always. So 1 and 28 are both factors of 28. 1 goes into 28 28 times. 28 goes into 28 once. No remainders, right? Next up, let's look at the next number in line, 2. 2 does go into 28. 2 goes into 28 14 times. So both 2 and 14 are factors of 28. Next we look at 3. 3 does not go into 28. Alright, evenly. So 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 10 is 30. So divide 28 by 3, we would have a decimal. So it is not a factor. Alright, next up we have 4. 4 does go into 28. It goes in there 7 times. Now these are all the factors of 28. Alright. And you're basically on multiplying, or you're just seeing how many times a number will go into that number evenly to find the factor. Let's look at one more example. Let's say 32. So of course 1 and 32 are both factors of 32. Next up we have 2. How many times 2 go into 32? 2 goes in there 16 times, so 16 is a factor as well. 3 doesn't go into 32. There's 4 does. 4 times 8 is 32. So these are all the factors of 32. Alright, since we got factors out of the way, now we're going to look at GCF. Alright, the greatest common factor, which is the largest factor that two numbers have in common. It's basically the largest whole number that fits evenly into two or more numbers. So let's look at an example. So we have 12 and we have 16. We need to find the greatest common factor between these two numbers, right? So first, in order to find that, you need to find the factors of both numbers individually. So 12, find the factors of 12. We have 1 and 12, of course. Then we have 2 and 6. Then 3 and 4. Alright. All these numbers fit evenly into 12. If I went a little bit too quickly there, I just started from 1 and I worked my way up to see the numbers that fit evenly into 12. Alright. Next we have 16. Of course, 1 and 16. 2 and 8. Okay. And 4 and 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 goes evenly to 16 4 times. I'm only putting 4 once, of course. Okay. Now let's look at the highest number that both these two share. They both share 1. They both share 2. And they both share 4. So GCF here is 4. Again, GCF is the highest number that fits evenly into both numbers. Greatest common factor. Alright. Let's look at another example. Let's say we have 8 and 16. So 8, 1 and 8, and 2 and 4. Let's look at 16 again. We already know the factors of 16 from the last problem. But 1 and 16, 2 and 8, and 4 and 4. Let's look at the greatest common factor. They both share 1, they both share 8, they both share 4 and 2. But the highest number they both share is 8 and 8. you could have kind of told us without having to solve it, since we know that 8 fits into 8, and 8 also fits into 16, so we know, since these were multiples, that it would fit into it. Alright, let's look at one more example. The last one I got is, let's see, 10 and 23. Okay, first let's look at 10. 1 and 10. 2 and 5. Let's look at 23. Alright, 1 and 23 is 2 a factor 23. 2 times 11 is 22. 2 times 12 is 24, so no. 3, no. 4, no. And you'll find out that the only factors of 23 are 1 and 23, because 23 is a prime factor, meaning that the only factors that 23 have are itself and 1. So the greatest common factor of these two problems will be 1. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching.